It's great to be here. I would like to place a couple of thoughts on the topic of resiliency of NGOs. I'm Jan Gregor, I'm from Prague, from the Czech Republic, and I'm pretty much involved in Svět Neziskovek, that's the world of non-profits. And we have, as I already mentioned, we are a combination of e-magazine and consultancy. So we are trying to deliver the best from the Czech Republic and from abroad to our couple of we have something like members, but also our clients. So we have consultancy workshops, blah, blah, blah. We also are planning to do in cooperation with Slovak Fundraising Center and a fundraising conference next week. That's why I'm so a little bit crazy, because I have conference in 1 week and I'm here. But you know, that's great, isn't it? Yeah. Unfortunately, it will be in Czech and Slovak, so it's not for you. So, you know. Coalition for Easy Giving, as you mentioned it, Andrzej, I left it on December, but still I'm involved externally because we are leading the legacy campaign in the Czech Republic, and still I'm leading this legacy campaign. But this organization is interesting because it's not a typical fundraising center or something like that, or typical service organization like is the world of non-profit. It's just a network. It's just a safe space to share know-how between organizations which are pretty much developed in individual fundraising. Why is it interesting? Because in combination of I'm involved in IFA and also in advisory board for our government for non-profits, we are trying to collect the know-how and what's happening with NGOs and with NGO sector itself. And that's why I want to raise a couple of topics on resiliency. There is one thing which we defined in the world of non-profit, like I think the most dangerous, which is making NGOs not resilient. It's their isolation. And I think it's not a question of Czech Republic. And what's interesting on it, it doesn't matter if it's West or East, or South or Nordic countries. We defined in the world of non-profit something called the circle of fear. It starts with isolation. Then it goes that you are not developing communication, or you are not communicating anyway, you know, because you think you don't need it. It maybe can cause that society is not understanding us, because why they should understand that we are not communicating with them. Yes, I know that there are many more involvements, but yes, maybe this is going why is decreasing trust of society towards NGOs. I will just show you something. This diagram is from the Czech Republic, and the blue one shows if you trust to NGO, and the red one if you don't trust to NGO. Do you see this 2015? It started to rise, this trust, and decreasing trust. What happened there? Do you remember? Yes, so-called migration crisis. Very well. It was quite a very interesting period, because in 2015 and 2016 was everyone crazy about how it will affect philanthropy in our country. Oh, we are so afraid. Hey, they are not trusting to us. Oh, everything will fall down. Really? Here are figures on how is developing individual donations in the Czech Republic. 2015, 2016, 2020 we know COVID, 2021 we have tornado in the Czech Republic. Surprisingly. I think in Germany also it was the June flood. Yes. But you know, really? So where was the problem? In the fear. In the society was not this problem. I think, Richard, when you mentioned that there are two groups of people who are really interested in you and in your cause, and who are not, why we are so caring for the group of people who is not trusting us. What this is causing? Low self-confidence of people working in NGOs. Not anything outside the NGO, inside NGO. And this is causing resignation to fundraising and communication capacities. And what is the most dangerous thing? Non-profit narcissism. We don't need people. We are experts. We are doing great jobs. And that causes isolation. I think that it doesn't matter if you are a fundraiser or a communication expert, or if you are leading some network or fundraising center or any kind of consultancy working in NGOs. I think we must fight isolation of NGOs. Some of you know Kay Sprinkle Grace. She's a wonderful woman from San Francisco. And this is just a picture from 1 hour video in our e-learning in the world of nonprofit, which is focused on effectiveness and resiliency of NGOs. And she was remarking that it's important when you are planning strategically to don't look only in the mirror, look outside from the window, especially in these days. Because if you are the lucky ones and you have something like strategic plans, many of NGOs don't, but if you have it, maybe you did something like steep analysis of the environment in which you are operating in. But the environment is changing so quickly that some document which is already 2-3 years old is not valid yet. That's why you must have an open window, not only open window, maybe doors, and invite people inside. It's interesting. Oh, this should be in right. Sorry. That's quite interesting that I will show you on another one. Oh, okay. Impact should be here. The interesting on NGOs is that we have one mission and under it 2 target groups. If you are isolated organizations, you are focused only on your impact. So who is benefit from your services? And you forget that there is someone in input, donors, volunteers, ambassadors, and yes, also employees. When I look at some organization which has not developed communication channels and communication know-how, very oftenly they don't have very healthy organization culture themselves. What's happening when I am a new employee? What is my onboarding process? It's the same process like fundraising process and onboarding new donor, isn't it? Because it's building relationships. It doesn't matter if it's employee or donor. So organizational culture is for me the crucial thing which makes difference between resilient and non-resilient organization. What we did in IFA with cooperation with Salesforce, either I think already expect what it will be, is the non-profit pulse research. It's doing a couple of times per year, a couple of years. And there is one figure I want to show you. Which of the following issues are most challenging your nonprofit right now? The first one is managing workload. Of course, raising sufficient funds. If you ask fundraiser what's the problem, he will find something like this, that he needs more money. But supporting staff and their well-being, And then again, reaching and engaging supporters. It looks like that what is happening now and what we can expect from the future are these 2 topics: rising demand on us and lack of resources. But I think it's good news. Why? Because we are needed. And what else? Really lack of resources? Isn't it the same that we were afraid of decreasing public trust in NGOs? No, we are needed. Society needs us. And other parts of society will support us because of it's needed. They feel it very pretty much. So it's maybe more than rising demand on our services and lack of resources. It's maybe more about more people need our services and we cannot get more people excited about our cause. So it's more about how we will excite the people to our cause, because there's plenty of them. People are giving, we already saw many motivations why are people giving, but the main point why they are giving is that they are asked. Isolated organization is logically not asking. What more? It's not about specific culture of the country. It's really about your organization culture. And when we see the pushing on our workload, it's and how we can manage it. It's something with organization culture. It's something like this: workload, okay, internally human-oriented organization culture. Don't forget that you are working with people. But also external way. Lack of resources, okay, externally human-oriented organization culture. It's not rocket science, isn't it? So why so many organizations is doing things like that? I mean, open organization culture, that for me means when I see some organization, has this organization communication and fundraising know-how and practicing it? And practicing it. Not only visiting conferences and workshops and our services and all this stuff, but practicing it. That's what is Coalition for Easing for. It's just sharing practice. Has a culture of clear accountability, internally and externally both. So a culture of continuous learning and clear impact report. Maybe some of you, if you are oriented in the topic of accountability and impact orientation, I can recommend you quite interesting model. I think it's popular mainly in the US, and it's result-based accountability. I think it's not very much in Europe, but I really recommend you look at this, how they are describing impact and measuring it. And the third one is inviting people inside this organization, or is it closed? Zoran is inviting people inside. They are not only invited, they are part of it, and that's it. Because your organization in this time is not isolated. Where are borders of the organization, actually? You as NGOs are not important. Important is your impact. And this is making changes between, differences between resilient and not resilient. Because we are moving so fast that if you will be closed, you will be forgotten. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you.